So here's the concept, guys. Every creator with as little as 1,000 subs has the potential to do this. Think about it, it's a possibility. Over the last year that I've been a creator on YouTube, I have noticed a lot of people say, hey, let's just get together and start our own perfect community. But I've never seen anybody actually throw any suggestions or anything out there like that. I know there are some places, I think, was it Shofar Mountain? They have a community, but it's a different kind of thing. I think Bear Independent has a community, but it's a different kind of thing. I'm not sure how their stuff works, but this is, pretty much my twist on it kind of thing. So, flat out, the concept is simply raw land is super cheap in Missouri. It's roughly $1,000 an acre, somewhere in that range. So basically, simple math, because it doesn't have to be more complicated than it is. 100 families that go in $2,000 a piece gives you $200,000 to buy 200 acres in Missouri of raw land. Now, with that money, each person would be, guaranteed. There will be. I'll go over the political part of it later on, but the concept so far would be each person would get a designated amount of land. Each bit of land would be designated to a certain, survival type necessity. But like I said, we'll get to that in a minute. So it's 100 families, $2,000 per family. That's $200,000. That's enough to buy the land, and that's it. Then from there, it'd pretty much be kind of a free-for-all, and everybody has to pitch in and break their back to get everything set up. So that's an easy entry-level option. It doesn't have to be 100 people. It doesn't have to be 200 acres. This is just the scheme that I have, my dream kind of thing. That's where I'm at. So, it can be smaller, 20 people, 10 people. The same thing applies, just scale it down some and implement it any way that you feel comfortable with. So, back to mine. We're at 200 acres, 100 families. The concept would be roughly a quarter acre per family. Somewhere in that range, all these things can be worked out. Some people would be set up in a cul-de-sac type situation. Some people would be set up out in the woods, depending on their job quality, their job needs, and all these, different things apply, obviously. But there will be, the social aspect of housing, and then there will be the lone wolf aspect of the housing that can all work in. But let me get to the basics of what I'm saying here. The way I've got this figured out is 200 acres. So 50 acres would be for housing of all the residents. There will be parks, there will be shops. It's going to be the community public area. That's going to be our, our downtown section. We'll have we can have the library, we can have the shops, we can have the group showers, the community showers, not group showers, you know what I'm saying. The community toilets, that way people don't have to rely so much on plumbing in their houses. If they, everything can work off of that. Details can be fine-tuned, but it's, the basic concept. We'll have a library, we could have a school, we could have a doctor's office. There's all kinds of potential to literally build in our own community just inside this 50 acres. That would pretty much be, the town would be roughly 50 acres. Let's see, that leaves us 150 acres. I say 30 acres roughly. All these are just rough estimates, so it's just a concept to put out there for you guys to nitpick. Just actually start thinking about doing something. Okay, so 150 acres left. We have 30 acres for livestock, sheep, cows, chicken, rabbits, goats, whatever it is. You figure you can get roughly 15 cows on 20 acres, somewhere in that range, and that still leaves you 10 acres. So you figure you do an acre of nothing but chickens, that's potentially a couple thousand chickens. You do a half acre of nothing but rabbits, that's more than enough food just in those sections right there. And then different things, you know, our own butcher shop, our own cleaning station, you know, all these different things would be on that 30 acres. So there's all that. Okay, and it takes us down to 120 acres. And then I have roughly 20 acres of crops. You know, that was where the cornfields would be, the bean fields, the raised beds, the greenhouses, all that stuff would be on 20 acres. And then that leaves us 100 acres left. I have 30 acres that it's going to be left wild. Roughly 30 acres, you know, these numbers aren't exact, but roughly 30 acres left wild. That way we could have the hunting opportunities, we could have different bushcraft classes, or, you know, hiking trails, you know, if people just want to get out into the wild that's uninterrupted, that's just 30 acres that will not be touched with the exception of a few trails. And if we actually do get rolling and it becomes big enough, then we could have survival classes, or you know, random campsites or something like that. You know, say, you know, it can all be fine-tuned. Okay, so that leaves us with 70 acres. Now see, this is the one that is, there's a lot involved in this. It would be 40 acres for conventions and stores. Everybody talks about they want to have a prepper convention, some kind of thing. 40 acres would allow us to do that, to be able to host people, put on events, you know, have parking, have camping, just vendors, all this kind of stuff. 40 acres would allow us to do that, especially if we're a prepping based community to begin with, centrally located here in Missouri, obviously. So, you know, that is a potential for some extra revenue to help, you know, help things along, and to get, you know, meet and greet people, you know, do all the usual stuff. And then the stores would be for, if we want to be a self-sufficient community, then especially here in Missouri, you can sell your own produce and you can sell your own meat. So if we had a convenience store type store set up basically as a grocery store, a fresh produce market, a restaurant, a craft shop, etc., 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 then all of the stuff that we produce on that property could be sold at these places year round as a, you know, another source of revenue to keep the community going. So that's what, you know, conventions and stores, that's what that would be, the real public area kind of thing. And then that leaves us 30 acres left. And I didn't assign anything to this 30 acres because it could literally be for anything. There will be many things that need to be added in, you know, a lumber yard, the cleaning stations, the, you know, just the processing place, the storage buildings for the produce and all the meat that we get, you know, and actually like a root cellar kind of system or something like that, to where we could literally supply enough food, you know, for these 100 families inside of the root cellar. If we can get to a point to where we've got a good 5 years worth of guaranteed food stocked up in a root cellar for everybody on that property, then I'd say that's a pretty good position to be in. So that is the goal on that, you know, somewhere around that range. I know it gets, there's a lot more technical stuff involved in that, and that was pretty much the description in a nutshell, kind of, you know, just an introductory kind of thing to see what kind of interest there is. Because the way I've got this figured in my head is on this one here that I'm working with, it would basically be myself and 2 other, possibly 4 other people that would be, you know, the kind of the civil engineers, as it would, to lay everything out, to organize stuff, to make sure stuff gets done, to actually buy the property, to you know, to get in there and do the work. Because, you know, we could literally just buy some tractors and get in there and just do the damn work ourselves and just get it done with, you know. Especially if we're if some people are living there full time, then things can constantly be progressing. And the way I would like it to be is that eventually people are living there full time, and as long as you paid your way to get in, then basically everything that is there is free for the rest of your life. You'll have no need for money at any time on that property, because you will have some kind of job. I mean, it's not going to be you have to work 40 hours, blah blah blah. It's like, no, if you have a designated job, we're going to need babysitters for a daycare. We're going to need people to go out and work the cattle. We're going to need butchers. We're going to need, maybe a doctor or a nurse. We're going to need, people to be in the garden. We're going to need people to, sow things. It's, there's all these different things that are going to be needed to be done. And as long as you can bring something to the table, you're pretty much set for life. Like I said, if it was a $5,000 per family situation, then that would be enough to get the wells and all that in the and the pipes and everything ran to each lot. That way each space would have their own water. The electrical, I'm not sure how that would work. That's something that would have to be tweaked later on down the line. But pretty much, your food and your water and your space, you're guaranteed this space, for the rest of your life, is paid for with $5,000, one of those kind of things. Back to the thing, the council, the city council. Like I said, for this project would be myself and 2 or 4 other people. That way it's in an odd number. That way there would never be any ties when it comes to voting, and each person would be assigned to a different, overhead of a different thing. One person would be in charge of the land. One person would be in charge of the animals. One person would be in charge of what goes on with the crops. One person would be in charge of the conventions in the stores. That way each person has their own kind of deal. But then it would definitely be a voting type situation, to where after a certain amount of time, each council member would be up for election. That way the people actually have a voice in who's making the decisions. That way there's no, controversy or anything like that. Everything moves nice and steady. The flat out majority vote. Simple, done, easy peasy. And it's on paper it sounds simple. In reality, it would be a lot of back-breaking work, and it'd be worth it though. I really think it would be. It'd be a chance to be around a whole bunch of like-minded people, the same core beliefs. There'd be some kind of constitution written up, basically bylaws, not an HOA type of situation, but a like, if you steal from somebody, you forfeit everything. You forfeit your land, you forfeit the money that you put on your land, you're immediately kicked out. Plain and simple. One of those kind of things. It's a respect thing. Obviously, the big one, if you've ever been convicted of a sex crime, don't even try to apply. Just don't do it. We're trying to make a place that is safe to raise our children, to be protected from all the nonsense that's going on in the world, and just to be surrounded by friends. Live in a place where you don't have to lock your doors. That's the kind of world I'm trying to create. We could literally live in our own bubble and be good for the rest of our lives. So it's, it sounds simple on paper, but it would be a lot of work. But that's why I haven't really talked to too many people yet about who I would like to be my other council members. That way we could dial everything in. You see, the last time I tried to do something was the Bug Out Railroad. This time I want to try to actually make something happen. It's this could happen potentially. But before I get in touch with the people that I'd be interested to be my council members, I want to throw it out there just to see what kind of interest there would be in actually going forward with trying to get people together and then trying to dial things in from there. Like I said, if pass this around to any other creator, if they want to use this concept, this idea, take it, run with it. If we can get as many communities like this out there as possible, I think this country would be a whole lot better off. You know, there's potential for so many things with my my layout. You know, you've got a gun range, you could have a blacksmith shop, you could have an armory, you know, you could have a church, you could have a school, like I said, a nurse's office, you know, a community kitchen to where, you know, once a week or something, everybody gets together and just has one giant feast as a community, you know, something, you know, all the potential that's there. Take it, scale it up, scale it down, it doesn't matter. 2 people, 10 people, 1,000 people, figure out some kind of way to make it work. You know, it's doable, but you've got to actually look into the logistics of everything, especially in your area, knowing that, like, this is Missouri. You're going to get below freezing. You're going to, you know, you're going to be kissing 0 in the wintertime. You're going to be hitting over 100 in the summertime. So you're getting the season. So you've got to be aware of insulation, you know, heating and cooling, electricity. These are all things that need to factor in. They don't have to factor in right up front, but somewhere along the line they need to be addressed, you know. So I think I'm rambling now. I guess I'll get into the logistics of kind of what I was talking about here. As far as the food stuff, the average person eats 264 pounds of meat per year. Okay, so if you start with that kind of average, if you look at rabbits, out of 2 rabbits, you can get roughly 112 pounds of meat per year off of 2 rabbits. So if you had a half acre full of rabbits, you know, good supplement, you can get roughly 400 pounds of meat per cow. You know, you can go higher depending on the size of the cow. This is, you know, 900 pound cow, you can get roughly 400 pounds of meat. You know, chicken, you know, it's pretty much a half a chicken per person. You can kind of average that kind of thing. And pigs is pretty much 2 pigs per family of 4 per year. You know, so if you add in all these things and you make the space for each one of these things, have the redundancies and the backups a little bit more than what you need, you know, it's very, very doable. There's potential and there's money to be made. You know, a lot of these places around here are prepaid electric. So even if it was on a power cable system, if you did corn, say just as an example, if you did 20 acres of corn, or, you know, whatever, and you made that money, you put that toward your prepaid light bill. Secures everybody for a certain amount of time. Or you can take that money and put it toward a solar system, or you know, something along that lines. You take the profit from everything that you make and you just keep improving your situation as you go, along with, you know, the manual labor of the volunteer people, the upkeep, the random, you know, just day-to-day chores, with that little boost of extra money that you made from selling your own product, you know, to the outside world. You know, you could probably progress pretty decently, especially in a community like this. For somebody to get into a community like this, they'd have to be like-minded enough to know that they're going to have to contribute in some kind of way. So from right there, that puts you on a certain level of respect and trust with your neighbors, because they've committed to this lifestyle just like you have. So automatically everybody likes each other, just for the simple fact that, or, you know, at least everybody respects each other, like, hey, we're going to do this, you know, and they committed to it. So, you know, that right there gives you a bond in itself, just from the starting place. So if you get the people that can do the mule work, that can do the labor, you know, dig the holes, run the lines, you know, do all that stuff, get everything, walk the land, get it laid out, get it organized, you know, go to the auctions, do the buying, do the selling, you know, just every aspect of it. From, you know, the old ladies who cook food for the community, you know, literally every single person has something to contribute in some kind of way. And I think it's doable. I think it's really, really doable. I hope some of this made sense. I hope it all made sense, but I hope you guys get kind of the concept of what I'm going for. This is just, like I said, this is just my feelers. I just want to see who is actually intrigued by this kind of thing. Like, is it worth me pushing forward on? Like I said, it doesn't have to be to this scale. It can be scaled up or it can be scaled down depending on the interest that it pulls. So let me know in the comment section if you are dead serious 100%. Yeah, you're down, to fuck with me and have, the people I put in at the beginning, a part of your community. Email me, and we'll get things dialed in. And like I said, it doesn't have to be me. Give this to another creator. Let them put the same proposition out to their viewers, to their people, and let's make a go of it. Let's actually try to get some communities going. Let's be a real community of people that we know and respect and trust, and all we want to do is survive. We don't want to be in everybody else's business. We just want to do our own thing, socialize every once in a while, and know that our kids are going to be all right. So like I said, it does not have to be me. Imagine if we had 30 or 40 of these communities throughout the country, 30 or 40 of these communities throughout, each state. The supply line that we could have with each other community would just, the possibilities are literally endless. There's so much that could be done. All it takes is for somebody to actually get out there and do it. So since I've been hearing about it and I haven't seen or heard anybody put anything out there, that's what this is. So let's see if anybody's got an interest. Let's see where this goes. Hit me up, and we'll figure it out. If things seem to have a real potential to happen, I'll get in touch with people that I trust, not only with my life, but with the responsibility that would come with handling that much money responsibly and legally. Anybody can steal anything from you. There's a constitution will be made, bylaws, all different kinds of things, and each community could tweak itself to fit its needs. And let's see what happens, y'all. And with that, I will go ahead and kill it here. It's been over 20 minutes. Y'all still hanging out with me. Appreciate you. And let's make some shit happen, because it's getting real out there. So stop talking about it and actually do something. All right, y'all. I'll holla at you.